Okay. Hey, what's up? Hello, everyone, and welcome to the BINACT podcast, where we talk music, the people that make it, and the communities that listen to it. So we're here, still on schedule. I'm really proud of us for the fall. Look at us go. So I realized in listening back to some other episodes that one, I stopped introducing AD um, for some reason, not intentionally. I just forgot how introductions work. So yeah, I like this one that I really liked from like 10 episodes ago. So, obviously I'm Candice of BINACT fame and on the internets and things as Candy Boo, and my co-host AD. And my favorite one was AD say what's up to the people, and then he would normally say what's up. But I completely forgot about that. So, AD, how you doing?
I'm all right. I think we got a visitor in your background.
Oh, I was actually very concerned. I heard the door open and I was very confused. It's not a visitor. It's just because the hard wire is in. So, yeah. Huh? Come on. Come on. I heard the door open. I was so lost.
So we got a quick run in from Candace's beloved.
I mean, this is actually the first time that that's ever happened on the podcast.
My sandals, my shoes in your.
They're probably under the bed.
No, I didn't bring them out the car. I don't think I brought them out the car since we came back from the trip.
Oh, well, then check.
Okay, yeah, that's what I was asking about your keys.
Oh, they're hanging up. It's been a while. Whew. Keep it in. I don't care. Keep it in. There was nothing inappropriate in that conversation. Keep it in. Leave it out.
See, I'm usually the one that always got the run in,
What's happening?
but not.
No,
But for the first time, Candace got a run in from her beloved.
no, I've had a couple. Just occasional, But anyways, back on track. Woof, that threw me all the way off. Um, so yeah, I got away from introductions, and I'm glad that I remembered. But I've got my cute, cozy, moody hoodie on today. One because it is just generally that time, and I am low energy, but I know today's topic is going to really pep me up because we're here to get into some shenanigans.
Is it really shenanigans? I think honestly where we're going, we've been talking about it for a while, and this is now just the. I
You
want to
could
say
be right. Yeah, no, it's just the
it's not.
pinnacle,
Yes, because
the pinnacle of our discussions.
I was going to say climax, but I don't
I
even
w-
think it's that.
right. That was the other word I was looking for. There was another word, not pinnacle, the apex. Apex is the word that I was looking
See, there
for.
you go. She got better vocabulary than I do.
I was trying to get it to come together. But yeah, definitely the apex of our multiple conversations about just general mainstream music consumption, discourse, the whole not like it's here.
Music, politics.
It's all here. It's all here. This is one of the episodes that I really do wish that OG could record. It's just our recording day does not work out with his schedule. I might, if anything, I might see if he can record later. So, what are you doing? You hate me.
Okay.
You hate me.
I couldn't find them. Sorry, guys.
You hate me.
I couldn't find them.
It's the case of the missing shoes. Trust me, I know the struggle. I know the struggle.
um, damn. Okay. Thought. This is one of the times that I wish that he could come record because I know he would have some quality Now I keep looking over my shoulder. If you're watching the recording, you're gonna see me look over because now I just keep hearing my door move.
It's the
Um,
paranoia.
um
Illuminati, naughty, naughty, naughty.
all right, back on track. Yeah, this is just an episode that I know that he would have just some good things to say, and I'm gonna see if fingers crossed we're trying to turn this around quickly. So I'm gonna see if he wants to just add some 2 cents at the end, since I will probably go kind of long. I don't expect him to listen to the whole thing, but if he just has anything that he wants to add towards the end, I might see if he's willing. But we're trying to turn this one around quick for y'all because it's just hot and we want to get out. So without further ado, let's discuss Drake versus Joe Budden versus the industry versus internet discourse.
No, go to the banner. It's all things Drake.
Yeah, your title's better. All things Drake.
Because it's not even a battle. Now, yes, let's just back up.
Let's back up.
Yes, what dropped on Friday? Drake's latest album, For All the Dogs. And of course, like anything else in this hype beast culture, it was hyped up well in advance. Social media, just media and music media in general. Of course, it's Drake, and of course, Drake is the golden child of music right now,
Right.
or one of them. You know, if you want to throw Taylor Swift in there, go right ahead. Album comes out. Well, I'll stop it right there. Do you think that you've listened to Drake from the beginning, correct, Candice, or at least
Vaguely. I can say that I definitely grew up with Drake. I can say
Okay.
that with confidence.
All right. And Drake's been in the industry for about given almost 10 to 15 years at this point. Right? So, and that's why I said I want to stop for a second before I go into
13 easily, because 2010 is roughly around the time that the first album dropped. I remember I graduated high school with it. So we can say 13 easily, but definitely 15. Let's say he had some mixtapes before.
Okay.
Because this is 2023. Nope, hold on, I'm tripping. Yeah, 2023, 2010. Yeah, so easily 13 years, definitely about 15 years.
Yeah, so you grew up. Basically, I have to. And would you consider yourself to be a Drake stan, or at
No,
least,
absolutely not.
okay?
I'm gonna stop you right there. No.
All right. While others are Drake stans, right?
I can't even really consider myself a Drake fan anymore, but we can discuss.
Well, that's the thing. So, album drops Friday, and of course, it's going to do numbers. It's already charting to be number one streaming wise and whatnot. Okay, great. As we all know, how much is a stream really worth, and what does a stream really mean at the end of the day?
Who knows at this point?
At this point, right? So, of course, it drops. The initial response, of course, is going to be, of course, on the timelines on Twitter or what have you, is, oh my gosh, Drake dropped another one. It's hot. It's the greatest thing out there since sliced bread. However, there has been a strong discourse, and it's from his own fan base that's not in love with this project.
Oh, see, I hadn't been seeing that.
Yes, and this is why I wanted to. I'm trying to be very concise, because I could go on a real rant and I probably will in a couple of minutes, but I'm trying to work my way up.
Yeah, let's build.
So, album drops. It's not the greatest. It's really mid, right? From the discourse that I've seen from people who are Drake fans, they're the main ones. There's like, this is not it. It sounds lazy, uninspired. Uh, from my listen to it, I just called it Scorpion 2 because it has the same feel of that album.
Now, I'm gonna interject here. Is Scorpion before or after Views? After, right?
It's after Views.
Okay. Just
That dropped right around the time of that Kanye and Pusha versus Drake. That little battle.
Scorpion or Scorpion 2?
No, Scorpion. I call this album for all the dogs Scorpion
Oh,
2
I'm
because
sorry. My bad. Brain. Okay, you're right. Okay. And yeah, again, interjecting. Views is where Drake lost me.
so yeah, so you fell out earlier.
About
I
10 years. That has to be 10 years ago, if I'm not mistaken, right?
maybe
Gotta be.
give or take, but
Let me Google.
I'm not the biggest Drake fan, but I've at least kept an eye. To me personally, I never understood what the big hype was for him, except that he could adapt to different things. And of course, the man he is a good looking man, which would appeal to the female fan base. So and he can carry a tune. So to
That's
me,
always been the appeal. We're not gonna sit here a lot.
not going that hey he and trust me, some of the earlier work of his singing or harmonizing
He was
actually
all right. Right.
he was all right. It matched very well. Now Friday basically comes and goes, and literally I'm the person that I'm like, all right, blank mine, impress me, right? At least I can get a feel of what's going on because it's going to be on the timelines. And I'm just like, and it's just, I'm not inspired by it. I was like, this is what it is. It's to me, I call it Scorpion 2. You can even throw in with a little bit of mix of that, not Jack Harlow's last album, but the album before that was straight trash.
Jack Harlow. That is right. He did drop another album this year, right?
Yeah, which play which
Whoosh.
yep, which plays into a bigger thing.
Whoosh. I forgot about that. I think we did mention it like right. Maybe that happened over the summer when we took a break. I can't remember, but
Before, like shortly before we did, but I'm like, all right, this is it's nothing. And then Saturday rolls around, and the big thing was Joe Budden's critique on the album. Now, for all those that don't know, Drake and Joe have a very interesting history with each other. Because it's no secret that Drake, in a way, idolizes Joe. He
you gonna have to put me on game here. This is news to me.
Yes, because when he was coming out, Joe openly embraced him. He was like, he's a golden child, he's the one. And when they met up, there's a video of it of young Drake, babyface Drake, giving Joe his flowers and everything, and Joe's just being hospitable. Now, of course, there's been some turmoil back and forth. You know, them being Eskimo brothers to a certain degree.
Eskimo brothers.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Candice is just looking like, what?
Okay.
Yes. So
certainly. Fine.
yeah, Eskimo brothers to a certain degree. Then of course, Joe has done diss records going at Drake. Drake has done shots going at Joe. It's like it's a frenemy type of relationship, right? But Joe, for the most part, has always said that Drake is, the boy. He's a fan of his music. And he was actually looking forward to the album. So this is the whole thing of context, right? Because a simple 2-minute and 30-second clip is not going to give you full context of this. But Joe was looking forward to the album. Joe
This album.
to this album.
Okay. Okay. Got it. Got it. Got it.
He said, hey, I think he's this may be the album he gonna throw he gonna go at some people. He gonna fire some shots off, right? And he's like, I can't wait to hear it. Even the title track, Virginia Beach, for as much as Drake has been talking and throwing subs at Pusha since Push beat him in a battle, you're thinking, okay, Drake may have some type of energy, lined up and to send at Push. Okay, give or take, it's more of a R&B ish type of vibe.
This album, because again, I haven't heard it.
It's not the album. That's the opening track. It gives that type of vibe.
Oh, okay,
not,
got you. Just for also interjecting, just to let y'all know, I'm not listening to this album. I have no intention. I don't plan on it.
It's 23 tracks, and literally you can.
I don't plan on it. Just a shout out to one of the OG members of the chat, Jerome. Jerome tried to get me back on track and made me like a whole like Drake playlist because he was like, yeah, I like Drake, and we haven't spoken in a long we haven't talked in a long time, and it was like some years ago, but he put this like playlist together of like, nah, Drake's still in his bag. And I like the playlist, don't get me wrong. Like he sent me the songs. It was a cute little playlist, but it just still didn't sway me. But it just that's what it made me think of. And I would love to know if he's still a really big Drake fan or not. Neither here nor there. I'm not listening to the album. Don't care. Keep going.
The whole thing that goes on to in the end is production wise, it was nothing special.
But that's been the case too for these past couple albums, right?
It's
nothing jazzy, just him talking. Maybe I don't know. Something like that.
Content wise, nothing has you don't hear a growth. The only thing that you may hear is more of him getting more women and him having more money.
Him putting that ugly ass necklace together of 72 engagement ring diamonds or whatever the fuck that was.
Yeah, that was like 2 albums ago. But
no, it wasn't.
Yes, it was.
2 albums. Oh, because he did drop the one with 21 Savage. So
yeah,
you're right. Okay. Anyways.
So, and now he's personality changing more times than Vixen at an award show to make sure that they get all their sponsorship deals, which ironically, that's what majority of this album talks about, is sponsorship deals. And what I mean by that is Candice still looking at me as we all know.
I'm uncomfortable. I don't want it like I
no don't be uncomfortable. We talk
let's
real.
unpack.
Yeah, we talking real. So it's talking about sponsorship deals. You really not talking about where you're at your point of life. It's literally an album. When I say it feels like Scorpion 2, I call that it feels like the original Scorpion album. You got
like literally copy paste, like same vibe,
same to a certain degree. The track with SZA and Sexy Red, which I cannot stand.
What kind of combo? And
do you remember that song Kiki, are you ready? Yeah, that one.
Yeah, that one was annoying, but yeah,
it's basic copy and paste.
Now I will say I enjoyed Nice for What when it came out originally. I was vibing with it, but then the radio obviously overplayed it, and then here we are.
But
that's the song with SZA, you said?
No, that's not the song.
Okay. No. I meant that's the song that has the same vibe.
Yeah.
So the SZA song sounds like that.
There's 2 SZA tracks on there. Slime for You.
That's a single, right? I feel like
yeah.
Okay. I think I might know what that sounds like.
And then you got the one with SZA and Sexy Red and Drake, and it's basically copy and paste. It's the same vibe, nothing special.
I'm together. I'm aligned.
And then we come into him still talking about Rihanna.
Dog. Okay, now here's where you gonna have me. I'm out. Okay, nigga, excuse me.
And this goes to my thing of growth, right?
What are we doing?
Yes, it's like she's not thinking about you, she's not messing with you. She got two kids.
Two kids under two, or that one baby might just have turned two.
Yeah. And in a healthy relationship. She ain't worrying about you. You throwing shots at her. Basically saying, hey, her box is trash.
And obviously, it's not. There are two babies, and Rocky can't stay off of her. So
So that's
I have questions.
then you going at just random things like a random person like Esmeralda Spalding.
I also saw that very random. Leave that back in. What was that? 2012 or whatever year the hell
Yeah,
that
so
was.
you're bringing stuff up back then, right? From
Like literally 10 whole years ago, bro.
and you're the guy, and you're one of the golden childs of the music industry at the
So
moment.
what? And like, what pisses me off with this weird Drake persona is, again, I think I said either in our group chat or in person with people or whatever. I used to enjoy Drake when he was the underdog. So I wish that I'm gonna make a point, but I'm make sure not to derail us from the Drake timeline. I wish that when artists got their comeuppance, like when they got their yippee, I made it, that they still retained some level of normalcy. And I'm not saying be normal, right? You're not gonna be normal. You're not gonna get XYZ amount of dollars and fame and do and still be the same ass person. It is unrealistic. But will y'all stop getting fame and money and becoming absolute fucking weirdos?
So this
Because that's where we at. Like weird. Like complete 180. Y'all weird.
so so we got him basically talking about sponsorships, basically taking other guys, girls, and doing whatever, and basically this whole red pill toxic masculinity BS, right?
I just Googled Drake's age, so I wouldn't be just putting people in the almost 40 club. So OG does not beat our ass. Um, Drake 36. So I
He's the
mean,
same age as me. He is the same age as me. So
that puts things into perspective.
yeah, so that
Because
so
like you're like, now correct me if I'm wrong, like a Jamaican American dad.
no, Barbadian.
Barbadian. See, wrong. Either way, Barbadian American dad,
With
living in the suburbs,
so,
kicking it.
Chase.
Suburbs. Suburbs. Living life. But I mean, normal life. Like, just, and not to say that like 36-year-olds can't be popping either, like, or like, out partying or whatever. Like, they can be. If let's even say you're single, right? Let's say you're, in the other timeline, there's single AD that didn't meet his lady, didn't have kids, whatever. You can still be outside and like kind of have that persona and not be a fucking weirdo. Like, you can do, like, it's doable. But yet here we are.
So we'll piggyback off the age thing because it really goes into what I'm about to what Joe basically goes into. He gave a critique of the album and was basically disappointed in the album.
Now let me find it because I actually cackled. I'm gonna find it. Keep talking about. I'm gonna find it. Joe Budden Drake comment.
Yeah,
Somebody pull it up.
Yeah, he basically said, Drake, what are you doing, man? You sound like you are. He basically said, stop hanging around these 20-something-year-olds and start making music that is your age. And he was just disappointed at it. And for full context, it led to a broad discussion of the state of hip hop and of just music dropping this year not really having an impact, which again leads to a bigger discussion of hip hop being down 40% according to Juicy J, right? And there's conversations and whatnot. But the whole thing about it was that this critique wasn't like vicious or hard that we have seen Joe Budden gone in the past. It was just real a straight out look, bro. This
I'm
ain't
finding it because again, just in case you want to know, when you Google it, Drake's response comes up, but Joe Budden's original critique is not the first thing that comes up, which is annoying. And I'm just trying to find a fucking.
it's just in his just in his last podcast, right? That's all. But
somebody took a screenshot of the comment too. Anyway, it's there.
it's out there. You can
It's out there.
But see what I'm saying in full context, it leads to a bigger, broader discussion of Mr. Aubrey Graham, right? So instead of so you want to read it?
I'll read it. I found it. So it says, let's see. Nah, I was gonna share. Doesn't matter.
Oh, you could.
Let's see. Maybe. Yes. I can do things. I can do things. So this is off of NME. Never heard of this website before in my life, to be quite honest with you. So the original critique is Joe talking about how he shouted out like Kai Cenat, who's 21. He's a Twitch streamer. Cool. So it says Joe Budden on Drake. He rapping for the children. Yo, dog. I had to look up how old this nigga was when I finished listening to the album. Budden said, "You are 36 years old. Your birthday is in 20 days. I Googled that too. You're going to be 37 years old. Get the fuck away from some of these younger niggas." And then he goes on to say, "I want to hear adult Drake." Sorry, I stumbled because I started laughing in my brain. My brain did I say this all the time. "I want to hear adult Drake rapping for adult people." He continued. "He's rapping for the kids, the streams, the accolades. He ain't trying to rap for me. I can accept that." Now hold the fuck up, because this is where I'm gonna stop.
Mm-hmm.
And OG touched on this last week when we opened up talking about Chris Brown. Okay, like if that's where you're at, if your place is, I want to get these streams, I want to get this money. Okay, like okay, fine, right? But don't ask me to be a fan of that then. Like you can't still want my big grown ass to want to partake and participate and do all the thingies. I'm not doing that. I'm not supporting that. And again, as we talk about, I would like for the consumers to start seeing through this. Whole different discussion. But for once, because me and Joe don't really agree, but a broken clock is right twice a day. And Joe had me right here because I was like, yeah, for real.
I'm a put, and we'll put in the description. Our friend of the show, Jay Nolan, put out two very, maybe even man. He's actually, I say that
On it.
He's been on it, so I'll definitely drop it in the description, just about this whole entire thing. But he was preaching the gospel, and so was Joe, right? And which I said leads to a broader discussion of not just of critiquing music, but just of it as a whole, right? But and this really comes down to the individual. So instead of saying, okay, you know what, this may not have been my best work, right? Or or
this is what Nikki should have done back in whatever year the fuck that was. But again, here we are with her too.
Or take the L, or just have fun with it, right?
Or be quiet, because you know what, you can't always be quiet. You don't have to say shit. You can just say nothing.
So instead of doing all of that, he literally puts out a 2-paragraph rebuttal to Joe, right? and basically goes over the same tired tropes that everybody says about Joe Budden, right? He says Joe's a failed rapper. Joe's a failure. Joe doesn't have money while he is living large and in charge, yada yada yada. I'm not reading all that BS, right?
Yeah.
But to me, it's wait, Joe's critique, and which it was, and it was a fair critique, got you so riled up that you took that literally you did this. I'm gonna take my phone. I'm gonna go, and I'm just gonna type away, or I'm just gonna do this on my laptop or whatever, right? Like, bruh, what? And this was the whole thing. Like you said, not a lot of people like Joe for whatever reason. You can pick, but when
I have my
when
reasons.
you have your
I have
again,
my reasons.
but when Joe is given literally a fair critique of the entire album, talk about the positives and the negatives, you have to take it as, all right, yeah, maybe I didn't get, maybe this wasn't it, right? But you do this on Instagram. Then this is what we start seeing: the disconnect in music critique and also political connections in the industry.
Pause. I'm just gonna read some of Champagne Poppy's response because we did read Joe's. It's very long, so I'm not gonna read all of it. But also, unlike I mean, there's a clip of Joe Budden. Like the clip, it's a video clip from Joe Budden's podcast, so it's not a lot of words. But I'm gonna read a bit. Woof. I'm
Don't,
exhausted
no,
looking at
don't,
it.
don't
I'm not
even,
gonna read it all. I'm
no,
not gonna read it all.
don't even read. Don't even read it, because it's literally saying three things: Joe's a failure. I got more money than you. You're a hater. That's it. Basically, in a nutshell,
I mean, yeah, fine.
right?
Sure. It exists, and also there's DJ Academics, which I'm so glad that I clicked a different link and did not have to click on DJ Academics. Um, it's out there, so
It's,
there's
it's
that.
out. Everyone has seen it, and everyone has clowned it too. The ones that really have sense, because it wasn't a harsh critique, but
Which is it's literally sending me back into Nicki Minaj and Wanna circa. I really can't remember when Queen came out, and I want to say okay. I'm about to Google it just so
so
I'm not wrong. But it's giving that. It's giving jump in your inbox, scream, rah rah rah. Um, oh, it was 2018. Okay, I'm great. Love that for me. Um, it's giving that. It's giving and like the fact that like Nikki really did hop in this girl's DMs. Now, mind you, Wana was like a music journalist at the time. I wonder what Wana's doing now. I could probably Google it. But I take that back. Not journalist. She was in like what was she doing?
she
Not journalism, but like an A&R type deal. Blah blah blah.
and
That's
just
what she was doing.
yeah, I remember. And Nikki sent the barbs after her,
Mm-hmm.
and basically being a bully. So Drake goes on. That's why I said there's a disconnect in music critique, right? Because you can take, if someone's saying, okay, here's your positive, but this is from a fan who's really seen you grow and whatnot, and has been in the industry, may not have had the same success as you in terms of commercial appeal, but I know how to work a goddamn pen. Excuse me, Lord, but I know how to work a goddamn pen, and when my pen goes, everybody knows that I can drop some heat, and it's connection, right? And it's age appropriate. And what I mean by that is this: Drake is and that's why I asked earlier is how long you've been listening to Drake, because from the beginning to when you kind of fell off from Drake, have you seen a growth in lyrically in his content?
I will say from Take Care to Nothing Was the Same, which is the run that I'm emotionally attached to and also can objectively look at, he did mature. To me, he stopped growing maybe after Views. I don't like Views, but people say that it's like really good or whatever, so I can't speak objectively about Views itself. But from Take Care to, I'm sorry, from, I said Take Care, from Thank Me Later, that's the first album. From Thank Me Later to Nothing Was the Same, first three albums, growth. Nothing Was the Same to me was some of his best raps. Some of his best raps, one of his best cohesive albums, put together a full package bump.
All right. So now, when I ask you content wise and maturity, what I ask you is, do you hear any growth? And what I mean by that is this, like you said, the man's 36, right? We kind of know the stuff with his son, right?
Mm-hmm.
You playing his album work, his drawing on the cover, cool. But we really don't know from a standpoint of how this really, you've talked about it, but you've never penned about it.
Interject. This is just a personal, very annoyed gripe. I hate when you,
Me,
not you.
I'm about to say,
I was about to say a word. I just had to catch myself. I just hate when you in words invoke the spirit of your children on these albums. I'm looking at you, Chris, naming that album Royalty and talking about fucking, but your kid was named Royalty. Stop doing that. Like, stop doing that. Okay, you want to put your son's. I thought it was a fucking hyena. It was terrifying looking drawing. I mean, again, it's a kid's drawing. This is not me shitting on the drawing. It's a 5-year-old drawing, whatever. But stop doing that because this album is about. Well, actually, I don't know what the album's about, but I'm guessing the album is about
that
bitches
hmm
and whatever. And it's like, okay,
sponsorship,
okay, so fine.
basically saying, I spent $20,000 on you. I should have saved that and spent it on the boys. Like, what the?
And like I said, I get annoyed because first of all, and this is a whole different other concept. We're not going to talk about how album artwork, like the art of doing an album, like picking album artwork, is completely and terribly in the trash when it comes to mainstreamness. Again, this is not me leaving independence and grassroots creatives out because I know y'all be doing the work. We're not talking about you here. This is not all creatives, but definitely the mainstream peeps, they've lost it because just picking this up and just throwing it on whatever. Stop doing it, please. That's all I ask.
So, and so this is going on, right? And when I say content wise, you could have you could have done a lot of things, right? Even play on the even just the whole thing of this is for all my dogs, right? Maybe we get a 360 version of Drake for once instead of actor playing rapper, you know? So that's what I mean is you put your kids work on the album. Here's a perfect example, right? Jay-Z had every artist or every great artist has different eras in their music. Sonically, personality wise, content wise, you know. They all just like with all humans, they go through evolution and changes, play around with different sounds, different concepts, what have you. Jay-Z, which is arguably, according to everyone, is the greatest of all time. He had his young phase, you know, his hustler day, hustler. Uh, he was a misogynistic, but he came up at that time, but he changed, he evolved, you know. He he started he you saw more of him talking about, hey, I'm getting money on streets, yada yada, but I'm getting money in my businesses, and this is how I'm I'm doing so. And then guess what? Oh, now I'm in a relationship. Now this is now this we're talking more about family life. Now you're starting to learn a little bit more of what made me me. What is not Jay, but what is Sean Carter. Now I'm talking about, hey, I'm in a relationship. Oh, now I'm where I want to be. Maybe I'm thinking about retiring, getting out the game. Now I'm talking about my children. And this was a person that was a notorious playboy back in there.
Now I'm talking about cheating. I mean, you missed that part, but that happened.
No, I was getting to that,
Yeah,
right?
y'all talking about cheating.
No, but no, but he's talking about that. Then 444, his last album, is his whole. It's not a Jay-Z album. It's a Sean Carter album. So he talks about that. He talks about him messing up. He talks about his insecurities because of that. You know, he talks about his business deals. So he talks at different levels, right? One of my favorite artists, Eminem. Eminem was doing some young, crazy stuff, and like his first three albums.
Mm-hmm.
But you see a little thing of, okay, M is M is talking all this crazy stuff, but you're starting to learn of what really makes him tick a little bit. Like, where's his boundaries at, in terms of, he loves his daughter. His daughter literally saved his life. Like, this is what he is. You start playing names and faces together, right? And then he had a slip up, he had a dip in form, but when he came back, he dropped he came back and was talking more about, hey, my drug addiction, I lost my best friend, how all this is playing. It starts becoming a full length, full figure picture. Nas, we can go down the list. You start getting a fuller picture after a while. But at the same time, every artist also plateaus at some point and needs to kick up their ass. And this is where Drake is at. He has plateaued as an artist. And now what we have seen is that people say, oh, the out the outlash has been too harsh on him. That album wasn't that bad. I'm disappointed in a lot of people. Snoop Dogg, Drake's daddy, his father came out and was like, "Oh man, I'm tired of these old ass hating ass niggas
I mean,
trying to."
but we been knew that Drake Daddy corny, so we
Yeah,
don't care about that.
right. So it's like this. It come down the family tree. It's like,
Now, I do have to, I'm going to interject one more time. Now, mind you, if you're a consistent listener, you would probably hear this conversation and be like, but now, didn't you say that Chris Brown can do this? Didn't you say that artists don't need to evolve? I hear someone asking that question. And for moi, I would say that Chris Brown should have evolved too. That's what I was saying last
but
week.
here's what I'll come back with. Chris Brown did evolve. He did evolve. Like I said, from, you saw him as a kid, you start seeing him as a man, but he also touched on certain aspect of his point of his life that kind of gave him a fuller picture. Now, has he gone back down that path? No, because he's stuck to what's worked.
I could see that. And in this case with Drake, I'd say that Drake evolved them first three albums and stopped. Maybe four. Again, people like views, so I can't say that he was evolving or was not evolving on views. But then first four albums was the evolution. But now we've gotten to the plateau. And here's where we're at.
And it's been a plateau for a while now. And what I mean by that is, Drake is one of those artists that everyone says he has a classic album, but no one can really say definitively what that album is.
Yeah, and I refuse to argue.
I think
I'm not doing
I
it.
think
I'm not doing it.
I think if anyone wants to say anything, it is Take Care. But let's look at Take Care. Who is the influence in Take Care? Your boy Weekend.
People go. I actually people argue nothing was the same as his, or I've seen more nothing was the same being his classic.
It's between those two, but I see more people leaning towards Take Care, right? And Drake again, his stuff has been going down for a while, and now him literally having a hissy fit, your biological father and your musical daddy and baby coming out to protect you and trying to do some fake tough talk saying you ain't ready for this gangster shit or whatever. It's like, dude, really? You baby are over. Look up what baby age is for me.
Baby,
Yes, from
like,
Cash Money.
oh, oh my God, what is that man's actual name?
Brian Baby Williams.
There we go. I was like, Birdman. I don't know why that nickname.
Yeah,
He's 54. Wow, he's 54.
Birdman. So yeah, Birdman. Yeah,
That's wild.
54. And
That man, my mama age.
yeah, you talking this stuff. Like what? It's a critique. It's an honest critique of just saying, hey, this ain't it. Drake says he's going away for a year. Okay, cool. Just like everybody, being away from the studio can actually be a benefit. You can learn some new tricks. You can say, okay, where do I need to get better at? Jake,
And this is like where I think too, this isn't me saying, because we've seen Drake, have talent. Like obviously he got to his, he's one of those people that got to his status for a reason. So okay, I'm sure you're talented, but can we see more of it? It's like, how many times are you going to, flash in the pan us? At some point, we're going to get tired. And again, this is really kind of expanding on the quick opener that we had last week, but it's just like, how many times are we going to do this? Where we go? How many? Where we go? Where do we go from here?
and I and like I said, a lot of people came out and are protecting him because now they're really showing their political connections of we need to protect Drake at all costs because if I align myself with Drake, Drake makes me money. Like
Who else came out and said some stuff again? Put me on game. I don't know who else was
when
speaking.
Drake's daddy put out an Instagram response, Snoop Dogg, who ironically is on Drake's album, came
Oh,
came in there like that sounds like a real nigga's daddy. Let's got it. Move on. I'm disappointed in you, right?
I mean,
Charlemagne,
if
Charlemagne,
Snoop Dogg is on the album, that just that makes sense. That's the bag.
Charlemagne's came out and
Well, he a
has
dick gobbler anyway, so who
you know
cares?
Rory and Maul. They got saying, "Oh, the critique was too personal, bruh. Stop."
But I thought they all hated each other.
See, and but no, but those two are trying to get numbers on their podcast. That
Oh, I was like, I thought they all hated each other.
yeah, they're trying to get numbers on their podcast, and Maul is doing so much choking on Drake's dick that he burps up sperm. Okay, like certain things, the dick riding is getting outrageous because none of these people are understanding of the thing of an honest critique of
And
just
Joe does have new people on the podcast now, right? Like,
yeah. And the thing is, he has new people around them, but it's like this, not people had different opinions, but they were all coming like this wasn't it. You know, it's like you can. We always everyone says music is subjective, right? But if I give you an album, but if I give you my honest critique and say, "Hey, this isn't hitting," what does everyone do? You don't understand the art. You just a hater. You just a hater. Hate, hate, hate. That's not being a hater. That's giving you constructive criticism on, hey, you need to do better. and because you're the golden child, that means you got the mark, you got the dollars behind you. And maybe we come out, maybe once everything dies down, maybe we find out what's really in in his literally almost $1 billion music deal, and how many albums he's supposed to deliver. Maybe he's trying to rush through that
I
to get.
legit do not care. I just like I said at the beginning of this episode, I knew I was gonna be like winded and tired, and you talk most of the episode, but I am so tired of this. I'm so tired. I'm tired. I don't care. I literally don't care. I do not care how many albums he's got left in him. I really would like for y'all to be peacefully bowing out. Since we're bringing up the weekend counter, I would love for Abel to stop right here. I would be perfectly fine. Stop right here while the iron it's good. Bomb ass tour, boom boom, stop. I'd be fine. Um, I don't. It's okay to stop while you're ahead.
That's it's Even if you're ahead, it is okay to say I need to take a step back, right? It, like I said, take a step back for 2 to 3 years, right? And and during that 2 to 3 years, live life. Let life happen to you.
I mean, because you got all this money, right? So do it. I mean, and
It,
this still stands for Chris for me too. For people that have talent, like I just want to see. I still feel like, I mean, nobody owes me anything, but I do think you do kind of at least attempt to owe it to your fans to try. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, the capitalism gone capitalism, but at this point, y'all kind of above capitalism. Like, you know what I
but
mean?
see,
Can we just try?
but when you start using capitalism as your go-to, which as your go-to motivation of, yo, let's get this money, let's get this money, let's get this money, guess what's going to happen? The joy's going to go away. You're not doing it for the right reasons, and everybody can tell when a project is literally trash, or yo, he or she actually put some effort into it, right? Because
And
there's
now us as consumers are getting yelled at because we mad that the hit factory sucks or the hit album is annoying and nobody wants to listen. And this be my beef, and this is where I harp on my consumer box because we've got to stop. We as like consumers, and this is again this like whole trickle down effect. Everyone is not going to be like, oh, I mean, the same thing with anything radical. Like, we're not all going to just stop listening to Drake, but starting the critique is the first step, and then being like, okay, well, I'm not going to listen to this. I'm not going to support this. We're only two people, and I mean, actually, you had listened to it to have an opinion on it. I wasn't going to do that, so
so so it's just things like that. And when you saying, and this is where kind of like Drake also shoots himself in the foot, right? Because he said Joe's a failure because he doesn't have as much money as him. Okay, let me just go down the list of not of artists who are some are somewhat are successful, or who have influence, who doesn't have as much money as you, Drake. Let's go down the list. But Lupe Fiasco, is he a failure? And I'm asking you, Candice. I'm just going to start naming. I'm just going to start naming names.
I mean, I'm not going to consider. I mean,
Uh, uh, Just
it's
just
gonna be
keep.
hard pressed for me to call anybody a failure. Really, I
But
mean,
that's
obviously,
what
I'm
I
not
say
gonna call
is
Lupe
like let me just shoot out names and you can say
Lupe
yes.
is recognizable, so no.
So no, right?
I mean,
Is
hell, Joe is. I mean, again, Joe is recognizable.
that is he a failure? Is he a failure? He pivoted because he said, you know what, my heart is this, where the music industry is changing to. My heart's not in it.
And that's what I said. I actually don't oppose a pivot.
Yeah,
So even still, like, I don't think Joe's a failure. Again, I don't agree with him a lot of the time, but I
it
don't think that he's failed.
is Jadakiss a failure? Is Cameron a failure?
No, those are all recognizable names in hip hop.
Right. uh we can go into R&B territory, which you can start throwing out some names. Would you say K Tronada is a failure?
I mean, to me, Kate Renata, absolutely not. But Kate Renata, I mean, no,
I'm just saying
yeah.
we can go like line for line. Saying is Ti a failure?
And then like the thing about what Drake's critique is, because it's of course like yeah, the jab at oh your music career didn't take off. Like technically that is a valid critique of Joe. The music career did not take off like super duper big huge whatever.
And
However, comma.
but but as with, and this is through hit, like I said, go listen to the Blog Era episode 1, and I believe episode 2, when they talk about Joe's career, the Ballad Joe Budden, of how Joe was actually on the front line of saying, hey, this is what's happening in terms of getting out there, in terms of being with the fans and what the fans are really looking for, in terms of just the audience in general. Hey, let's work with that. He was with Def Jam. They didn't know what any of that was, so they were still in their little box. So for that, it was more of just the music politics. But Drake, as he is right now, is literally, you could sketch out an artist and it would be Drake. He appeals to all the audiences, but he doesn't say anything that he'll ruffle feathers, but he doesn't say anything that'll make him lose the masses, if you know what I mean. He does everything that it's so much PR, so much. We can't get to, he's too clean. He's he's not edgy enough. He'll talk about the stuff and whatnot, about sex and women and all that type of stuff, but in terms of, he's not willing to say, hey, I'm going to do something that's going to potentially lose me a fan base or lose me social media following or whatever. And that says something. And it comes back to these these so-called music journalists, or even these so-called music media pundits.
I
What
can't. I know the direction you're going.
it
Not even stopping. It's just I literally can't. I
it
can't.
you can't take a lot of them seriously, because when they show their hands of what their motivation is, whether it is access or money, because they need to get paid somehow. It says to me, and it says to a lot of people, like, that really are looking at it like this. You're not really into this. Like,
I mean, I'm gonna say this and start to close us up because Lord knows I literally do not want to
like,
spend any more than an hour talking about freaking Drake and fucking politics.
but
But
let me just think, because like I said, listen to we'll put the videos up on there to support Jay Nolan and his channel, because a lot of his stuff is right on point. It's this: the fan is very knowledgeable of what's going on, right? But at the same time, like you said,
some fans are very knowledgeable
I
because
will say,
we have some other dick eating fans. So
yes, no, what I say is what fans are like, the ones that are really about what the music does or whatnot, are very knowledgeable. However, the consumer base did to themselves of allowing people with no talent or trends to dictate actual quality music more than anything else.
I can't fully blame the consumer base here. It is a good 70-30 split. And I'm going to give 70 to the music industry.
No, I'm not going to say that, because I'm going to say if you're going to say that, you have to put the consumer fan base, because they're basically not. Look at how easy it is for somebody to literally buy some mics, find somebody who can make a beat, write a quick song, and
Well, that's what I mean.
and they're embraced by what? The people. So that's why I said it's
I
not.
can't give all of the fault, like all of the responsibility to the people. You have to split it up. That's what I'm
No,
saying.
no, but
You can't like the industry itself, the machine itself, like when we talk about like capitalism or anything, you gotta fault like capitalism has fault. Like you can't just be like, oh, the industry has no role. The industry has a role, and I think they have a bigger role. Like I said, I have to give the 70-30 split. Yes, there or maybe even 60-40. Yes, the industry pushes garbage and doesn't do the due diligence anymore, but consumers are eating it up too. And
and I'm
so
but the
it's
consumer, but like
there.
I said, is the consumers that that's why I call them hype this hype beast thing, because they're willing to throw the label of GOAT or whatever without these artists really earning that title, you know? Like, to me, if you have there's one thing of like, yo, I'm gonna protect you, like we're gonna protect you from other things, but from a critique, and you can't handle it or use it as motivation to come back stronger and better, and literally you're having a hissy fit, you look entitled, you look weak.
And now, mind you, this isn't to say that you can't be an artist sensitive about your shit, right? Like, this isn't me being like, oh my God, you should never say anything ever when people, like, have something to say. Like, you're allowed to have your own opinion. But here, the critique has weight. Like, this wasn't just like, oh, this music sucks. Like, I mean, it just had something more. And this is a different episode topic that we can discuss. But also, there's a difference between critique and opinion. Critique comes from somebody that has skin in the game. Again, but I'm not a critic though. Like, you have to have something to actually give a critique. Joe has been in the industry, so he can definitively say, hey, this music's a little childish, right?
Mm-hmm.
Again, thinking about Wanna and Nikki at the time, Wanna was in the industry and she was like, hey, I fuck with you, Nikki. I grew up on you. This is not giving. Like, you can, like, an actual critique now, like with somebody who has some skin in the game, so a level of knowledge. And even then, like, us, not critics, still have our own strong opinions and can say as well, agreeing with critique or whatever, but like, this is just a whole lot of this ain't it from Drake, really.
it's it's that's all I'm saying is literally it's literally this whole thing is just people showing that they have very thin skins, and their personas that they put out there is nothing more than BS, which we really just want authenticity, because it's okay to say like this, look, somebody said this, I forgot who said it, but it was literally a line that said, I'm an artist at the end of the day, and I'm sensitive about my shit, right? And that was like one of the realest lines I've ever heard. But everybody wants to be gangster, 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 a, a womanizer. Women want to be scammers and tell me how many bodies and all. You know what the whole thing is? It's boring. And as clear as day, as Jay Nolan has said, music has dwindled and dwindled and dwindled and dwindled in terms of their significance on a day-to-day basis. Between stream between podcasts, audiobooks, shows, movies, music has literally come down on the totem pole. And it's sad because look at Instagram. Everyone does a video and puts some music behind it to keep a vibe, but no one really is talking about the song that they're putting out.
And this is where you're going to get me riled up for the next 2 minutes, and then I'm going to calm down. Because it is sad. That does hurt my feelings. As a platform that started in the golden millennial era, I'll say, I'm not even going to be like the golden era of music. Like, that's subjective, whatever. This platform started in 2015. We've gotten away from actually celebrating birthdays in the parallelogram because parallelogram. But this platform started in 2015. Did I just say 2018? I don't know. I'm tired. It's been a long day. Platform started in 2015. It has been 8 years of BINACT. And BINACT about to be in the double digits. Like at first, BINACT, I remember looking up and I was like, BINACT a toddler, BINACT going to school, BINACT about to be a preteen in a couple years. And the heart of it was obviously, well, has always been, uh, championing good music, especially independent artists, but championing quality music. So it does hurt my feelings when a lot of my friends and acquaintances and associates, I can talk about music too, we can have like a good conversation, but like you said, I am a little bit fearful for younger people who know TikTok songs but like don't know how to listen to an album type deal. um that hurts. And I mean, I love my TV and podcasts as much as the next person. Don't hear me say that, because I love to throw a podcast on, but I also love, like, music is I can honestly say, like, as a hobby, I love listening to music, whether it's something that I know, finding something new. So yeah, I am hurt by the statement, but I don't think you're wrong, and I'm scared. I don't necessarily think that it'll die. There are always going to be music heads. So there's always going to be an us. There's always going to be a BINAC community. But just a little concerned.
It's it's where we're at, and again, it goes back to there is a drop in music, especially hip hop. People trying to blame, or want to try to throw heat towards international, with the Afro beats, the Latin music, and say they're taking away the fan base. There, what I say about those things is there's a soul in those music. You can still have fun, you can still talk about it, but the music has a soul to it. And I went to a reggae festival this past weekend, and literally that place was just vibing out, and was just good pure vibes throughout the whole entire time, right? And that's not saying that there's not going to be talk about some some bullshit and whatnot, but it's more so to say there is a lot of the development of these of music nowadays is done. It's done, and we need to get, and what really needs to get back to is that of getting how to make an actual song, how to grow over albums and over different singles and concepts and things like that. Like I said, to me, you could have said, okay, and usually there was a formula to it, right? Because after you get to a certain point, you plateau, or you just say, like, I need to take a step away. But it's usually your first album is your introduction album, right?
We say
Second,
this every episode. It's
every
there.
it's there. The blueprint is there. It's, hey, this is who I am. Second album plays off of the first album of saying, hey, this is where I'm at now. Things have changed a little bit. I can still have the same sound that you know me from the first album, but then I can start incorporating new stuff. By the third album, that should be your pinpoint album of saying, this is who I am as a person, right? As an artist. The Between album 3 and 4. And everything else just builds upon that. So if you haven't, I would say you need to have a life album in there of, hey, I'm becoming a family man, I'm becoming a family woman, I'm having children. my perspective has changed on a lot of things. So maybe even go back to your first album in terms of the messaging and say like yo, I was all about this, but now I'm kind of feeling different, I'm feeling a little bit lost. I'm feeling kind of depressed, I got all this money, but I don't have anybody to spend it with. Or now I got really keep my head on such a swivel now because I don't really know who's there, and not everything that glitters is gold. And then you usually come out of your next album as more happier, more well-rounded individual. Then it's just gravy. If you want to make music, you make music that you just feel free. And this is the time for that.
And I mean, again, and really just figuring it all out, or like, closing it all out. Like, we know the capitalism of it all. Like, this is not, we're participating in it right now. We have to work forever to see anything. So this is not being like, oh my gosh, like you should always just want to make music for the art. Like, we know that eating off of this stuff is a goal, like, and is a big, huge, normally sometimes the first driver to do it. But at the end of the day, it really comes down to wanting to do this because of the soul of it too. Like, not discrediting the goal of wanting to make money and survive, but also, where's the heart? Like, does that just stop existing? I do want to kind of just wrap up on like thinking about like how genres get commodified, because to me, I wasn't ready to see hip hop become pop. You know what I mean? Because pop was always just kind of like pop. That's the commodity genre, pop. And now we're seeing like hip hop kind of almost take that route of being like, okay, it's been sucked dry now. Because to me, and in my opinion, R&B as a genre still hasn't necessarily gone, like, there's still R&B, right? There's still soul. There's still those genres because they're not like super duper popular or whatever. There are pop tracks that have R&B influences, but the genre's not gone. But if hip hop doesn't get it together, hip hop will become pop and it will just kind of fizzle into whateverness. And I don't want that to happen. I know like maybe some hip hop historians would be like, that will never happen. And I mean, I hope not, but if not contained or observed at like a more granular level, then it could. And that's also scary. So, yeah, I hate when we end negative, but dear Lord.
So we got it. And
Dear Lord, I'm so tired. Dear Lord, I'm tired.
It's just, it is what it is. And that's just the fact.
I have a positive to end on. The Jameson album drops this Friday. So, what is it? 1, 2, 3 days from recording. The Jameson album drops. Positivity. There we go. Something. Joy. Because I couldn't end like that. It was too much. It was bringing me down. No new noise for me this week. AD, do you have new noise? I didn't have anything relatively new.
New noise wise, I don't. I honestly don't.
I have a couple of Lucy songs, but I just want to wait. I do want to wait until I hear the Jameson album. I want to hear that. And I will say
the tour starts. The tour starts this weekend.
Did you get your tickets? Because I still. Oh my God, more joy. So did I tell you that Jameson, I was DMing, like I've been seeing, him posting about the tour, and I was like, oh yeah. What did I say? I was like, oh, I'm trying to get tickets. So I was like, yeah, but I like tour, all the cities are going everywhere. And so I was like, maybe next time you'll come do Charlotte. And he liked it. Like, he liked it. So hopefully, I'm hoping that he adds some stops and he adds Charlotte. Basically, I'm holding out for that. I'm not doing Pittsburgh. I'm not trying to contort my life to get a flight at this point, but I need him to come to Charlotte. So that's my joy, that I'm hoping and praying that he adds Charlotte to the tour. That's also joy. Oh yeah, did you get tickets? You already got your tickets, right? Did you get tickets?
Um,
No.
I I will get my tickets by if not this by the end of the month. I'll have my tickets.
I need you to do that. I need you to handle that because I'm gonna need to hear the show. I'm gonna need to hear about it. Yes. So
So
yeah, I'm excited. Woo, joy. Yeah, that I knew this one was gonna be hard. I actually expected to laugh more, and I did not laugh enough. I'm
no,
upset.
it's where we're at right now. It's things that we've been talking about almost all year long, and it just keeps on going. We're just there, and it's time for we're at a point of a change, and it needs to be one of getting back to the basics of strong songwriting, strong connections with your fan base, and what I mean, an authentic one, and not just trying to play some type of pa- pandering game to whoever you want to try to get some money with, you know, instead of just saying like, hey, this is who I am, Cleo Soul. I'll just say that. Strong songwriting,
Boom.
talent speaks for itself.
Actually, and what we're gonna do, there are numerous or like some artists that we can name for the rest of the year. We are going to bring some albums and some discussions of good shit. That's what we're gonna do. We're gonna stake that out. We got Cleo Soul on the docket. We got Jameson. That's already two that I can write down. We gonna bring some good shit rest of the year.
Wait, that's my hope. So that's my hope, and we'll we'll pray for that. But really, your girl's supposed to be dropping soon,
Ooh,
Nikki.
no, stop doing that.
Yeah,
Cut
she's
the
your
cameras. I don't care about that. I told you I don't care about that album. That's not my girl. Ew.
it's supposed to be I thought it was supposed to be sometime towards the end. It's supposed to be in November.
We do not care. Pink Friday
It's
2 can leave me alone at this point.
Cuddy's supposed to be dropping.
Oh, that's exciting.
That should be interesting. See, that's interesting. Uh, ASAP,
No,
Be-
I was just talking about
Benny,
him. Eh,
Benny the Butcher supposed to. Smino.
that, yes. Yes. If Smino drops, I will lose my mind.
That's November. So that's just a couple off the top of my head.
Boom. Yeah, we're gonna bring some good stuff. I'm going to make a point to do my best at making sure that we're on the same page and we listen to good stuff. Um, yeah, that's gonna be the goal for the rest of the year to round it out because yeah, harping on the struggle mainstream is the struggle mainstream, but we're not gonna just sit here and pretend like good music is not existing. We don't do that over here. We do not do that over on these parts. So yeah, woof, this has been an episode, but it has been the BINACT podcast where we talk music, the people that make it, and the communities that listen to it. We'll be back in 2 weeks. Be safe, everybody. Bye.